welcome back to Total Spotfest. JJ Brownlee, Jamie Faulkner, back at you here. We got a blood-curdling episode. That's not the right terminology. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Like, is it that bad?
Yeah. As soon as it came out of my mouth,
it's bad, ladies and gentlemen.
Like,
this show sucks.
This show will make your blood boil. So, we have a blood pressure rise. That's not better. No, that's okay. I'm gonna stop trying to be cute here. Thank you guys for joining us here for another episode of Total Spotfest. Oh God,
this show's camping, ladies and gentlemen. It's intense. Oh.
Well, that's our show, guys. We'll see you next week. For those of you not in the know, JJ loathes dad jokes.
And Jamie loves them.
And here's the thing. A good well-timed pun I can appreciate. I love it, but it's like the overuse of dad jokes. It's just like, oh my God, stop it. We had a coworker.
Oh yeah. I actually prefer the dark dad jokes. Those favorite. Like, cause they're like so bad and like wrong. They're funny.
Those dark.
I got one. Mm-hmm. You want one?
Let's go for it. Why not? I mean, we've already butchered this intro, so.
Okay. Yeah. Why did Hitler kill himself?
Why?
He didn't want to pay the gas bill.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
See, it's dark, dude.
I'll take
it's dark.
I can appreciate that. So, all right, we're off to a rousing start here. Blood curdling and Hitler. I mean, hey, what a way to start a wrestling podcast. So, for those of you still with us,
blood-curdling joke.
Blood-curdling joke. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We do appreciate it if you are sticking around for this here. If you're watching us, of course, we appreciate the support. You can give us even more support. Hit a follow, hit a like down below. Helps us out quite a bit. Drop a comment, join the conversation, or you can hit us up at Total Spotfest. Jamie, let's do a hard pivot there. How was your week?
Crazy. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing the Chiefs hopefully dominate on Saturday and hopefully possibly host an AFC championship here.
I mean,
and completely suck.
You'll have to see. Either if you guys win, it's 50-50. Either it's in Kansas City or it's in Atlanta.
Yeah, I really want. I want Buffalo to win because it seems like the Bengals have our number, but I really want the Bengals to win so we have a home game.
I mean, if they have your number, even though it's not a home game, you're not going to be in the snow. It's the neutralist of it's a dome in Atlanta. It's the neutralist of neutral sites, really, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the fair solution.
We did request an outdoor stadium. with natural grass. And
you
the
did?
NFL's like, no. Yeah. I think Buffalo did too. Buffalo wanted to be outdoors.
They probably did because that's both you guys have outdoor stadium natural grass. Steelers did too. I mean, yeah, but oh man, they need to go back natural grass for everything. So
I agree.
That aside, so we do have stuff we want to get to. I have one thing from the weekend that we're gonna save here. We're gonna talk about it a little bit. Of course, I want to get some reactions from you on it. We got a lot of AEW news. There's not a lot of news elsewhere, and that unfortunately abruptly changed Tuesday afternoon ish. So we have a Discord for local wrestling buddies, basically, those friends we know through Journey Pro and through other, stuff, local stuff, like we know each other from wrestling mostly, right? Of course, Jamie and I not, but, from wrestling. And so I remember I was sitting at work and phone beeps and I look at it and there was a post from one of our buddies with a link to a Twitter that could not quite believe but unfortunately, the wrestling world lost a heavyweight. And one of the universally most loved people, Jay Briscoe, untimely passed away this past Tuesday. And I couldn't believe it at first. I was like, what? Out of nowhere. Apparently it was a car accident. We don't want to get into the details. Details have been released, and but car accident. Somebody head-on collision with his car, and Jay Briscoe passed on Tuesday.
Yeah, this one's pretty heavy. Jay's two daughters are in critical but stable condition. So I mean, there is some positive out of that they hopefully they'll be fine and be able to walk away from this. I mean, it is unfortunate that they did lose their father, and that's really, really hard to even think about for them. And the wrestling community has definitely stepped up and is poured their heart out for Jay, because I mean, he has positively affected a lot of people in the wrestling industry. Comments about things in the past don't really mean much these days, but it's one of those things that he's a great wrestler. Him and his brother put on 2, maybe 3 of the best 10 matches all year last year.
Their 20-something year of wrestling. Well, Jay's like 20th year or whatever. Yeah.
They put on straight bangers with FTR. Straight bangers.
And
so it sucks.
It hurts. I mean,
yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. It hurts. He's such a wrestler, and they were on my bucket list to try to see this year.
Same. And it's I mean, the most is very interesting.
Briscoe's life.
Sure. I mean, it's very interesting to see, because when somebody in the wrestling community passes, you get the general response. You look on Twitter, you see, a bunch of stuff, right? I haven't seen that much outpouring since Brody Lee passed. And I think there's a lot of parallels with that, to a man. I mean, okay. NXT on an outro to commercial break gave their condolences to the Briscoe family. And a WWE property gave a nod to, usually they'll put something out on Twitter or whatever, and maybe they'll have a graphic at the beginning of a show, maybe, for somebody not affiliated with WWE, right? Even they were like, and to I'm talking every person you could think of who has been involved in wrestling in the past 20 years, was just pouring out stories and sharing links of matches. Some of the old ROH matches he did against Kevin Steen and El Generico, and just some classic bangers and stuff. And it sucks. It's not good. Such is life. It's like we lose people untimely, and gotta deal with it. So we want to give our thoughts and prayers, of course. But big shout out to anybody out there. If you've seen Jay Briscoe, familiar with him, acquaintance, whatever, our love goes out to you for sure. And I think that the best way is just to watch some of his matches, watch the craft that he loved, and what he's done for this business. Because you're right, banger after banger after banger.
Yeah, and with the loss of Jay, it makes me reflect on some other big losses we've had in the wrestling community. And you kind of hit the nail right on the head with Brody. That was massive, and it shocked everybody. So my question to you is, I mean, aside from Brody, maybe, or maybe you can even go further into detail on Brody. What are some of the other big losses that you can remember
Oh
that just
God.
shook you?
So, well, I remember very vividly when Kurt Hennig died. Right.
Hmm.
That was a big one. You know, there was several that weren't quite like when they were in their prime, things like the Ultimate Warrior and stuff like that didn't hit me quite as hard, but definitely there was some, thoughts for that. The I hate to even say this too, but because a lot of the WCW era was, like I said, we talked about this in the past about Monday Night Wars, and I was a big WCW guy for most of it, right? So, and I say Kurt Hennig instead of Mr. Perfect because of that. Losing Eddie was almost like it wasn't real, It was,
Hmm.
it was, it was like how can he not be there? And at the time, Chris Benoit was another one too. Now, of course, but when it first happened, you're like, holy shit, right? But I would say Eddie and Kurt Hennig were the two ones that really hit me the most past Brody Lee. What about you?
Yeah. Well, one of them I saw live. Um,
Well,
that one sticks with me in Owen Hart.
that's
Seeing
a
Owen
little
Hart
bit different, but
die
yes.
in 1999, yeah. That one definitely that one shook me pretty hard. Chris Benoit definitely did as well because I really liked Chris Benoit.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I was a big fan of old WCW cruiserweights and the lower tier guys and
Mm-hmm.
the best of 7 series between Chris Benoit and Booker T.
Oh.
Even though I know how much you hate the best of 7 series, um, but like he was a big part of my wrestling life. Him and Eddie, like all those guys, all those B tier WCW guys who became A tier in WWE because somebody actually knew how to use them.
Yeah. Rey
Like
Mysterio.
it's all, yeah. Um, another one that's low key kind of got me was La Parka. Um,
Oh really? Okay. Yeah.
when, yeah, finding out La Parka died, like just because I remember I love playing as him in the old and everything, and he does his little dance. And he always has the chair and all that stuff. And, like, dude, like he was so great in WCW. He was a lot of fun with that, with their cruiserweight division, if you will, even though he was not a cruiserweight,
Yeah.
like at all, like at all.
I
And
mean,
how he died.
right, right. I'm not thinking about like the after the died thing, you know, eh, more recent, but some of the other ones too, like Scott Hall. Scott Hall hit in the gut a little bit.
Mm,
When
mm.
Macho died, right?
Yeah, that one hurt.
That one hurt. I mean, they all hurt. You get attached to these characters, and even though it's not who they are, but you get attached to these characters and these people, and you invested in them as performers and entertainers and everything, and it hurts. And
I know I'm going to be a blubbering mess when Shawn Michaels passes away.
oh, yeah, yeah, you will.
Like
Don't think
him,
about that.
dude, just the thought. Yeah. Mm-mm.
It's gonna
Mm-mm.
happen. Yeah. I said, hey, that is a part of life. So, love, hug your loved ones, everybody out there, because you never know, and you can't live in fear. You just gotta love them while you can. That's the moral. That's the moral of the story.
Damn Skippy.
Let's move on to happier news. Okay, so let's not talk about the passing of one of our cherished figures. Let's talk about the eradication of the human race. Okay. I got those transitions down too. Did you watch The Last of Us this weekend?
So bear shit in the woods. Of course I did.
You better
I watched.
have.
I watched it twice to see if first time through just to enjoy it, and the second time, what did I miss?
Pick up the little things. Pick up the little things. Yep. I watched it twice and watched a couple synopses and some other things. So you go first then. Now, full disclosure, I haven't played the game. I have seen walkthroughs of it at least 5 times, though, complete playthroughs. I don't have PS4, no PS5. I never got around to getting it. Was it available on PS3, the original one, the very first time? I think it might have been, but I wasn't big into gaming then when I had my PS3. So I never personally have played the game, but I've watched it many times over. And Jamie has played it several times, I think, actually. So you go first, Jamie.
Yeah, it's arguably, like, when I first played it, I thought it was perfect. Like, it was perfect. The story, everything, and the gut punch, the very beginning, like, set the tone for the rest of the. And I was really, really scared.
Oh, hold on one second here.
That they were not going to be.
Real quick, spoilers if you haven't watched the show and you don't want just be.
Oh no, I'm going to say general. I'm going to say very generalized.
No, we're going to talk about it. First of all, the game's been out for a decade now or something like that. You know, it's like the story's well known. Okay, all right. So we're just gonna say if by chance you haven't seen you holding off here, just fast forward about like 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, but anyway, spoiler warning. It's out there. Go back. Sorry, Jamie.
Yeah. So like one of the main things about Last of Us, the game, was that opening sequence that just the super gut punch.
Yeah.
You're in the car, you're looking around, everything, all that good. Really nervous about them recreating that in the show. How can I get invested quickly, and how can they just really suck me in with it? And they knocked it out of the damn park. That opening sequence, everything, like down to the small things, like running, all the people running out, and you see the fire truck and all these things, like that's in the game. Like lots of, they did a good job of staying really true to the game and adding some back pieces that give you a little bit more. I really enjoyed, how they opened it up with 2 people talking about what could a virus, and this other guy's talking about fungus, which I thought was excellent. But man, like that beginning with Sarah, Jesus Christ, like I'm watching it, having anxiety watching it. Like I'm like, oh my God, I know it's coming. I know what's coming. And like they had me invested too. And it's just crazy. But thing that I this is gonna sound bad. This is gonna be a hot take, and you can just destroy me for it if you want. But Pedro Pascal might be just getting typecast as the person who takes random children to random spots and decides to keep them at the end.
I mean, maybe not as Wonder Woman 84 role, but other than that, well, okay. I mean,
he's kind of getting typecast right now.
If you're good at something, right?
Yeah, and did you happen to see that trailer?
Oh, do we ask stupid questions here? Yes, I watched that trailer about 17 times.
You asked a stupid question if I watched The Last of Us.
I know. Like, well, that's my. Come on, man. yeah, of course.
Yeah, yes. But Last of Us to me, and I want to get your point. Like, I think this might turn out to be the best video game adaptation ever already.
Okay.
It set the tone so high. Like The Witcher was good, but The Witcher kind of did things, and this one hasn't done the things yet.
Yeah.
The only thing I know that they're not spores, which we talked about, which kind of sucks because that is like a heavily big thing, and
sure,
I get it, but I don't, because you don't want to cover up pretty actors' faces.
Yeah, Pedro pays the bills, man. You got to keep that mug out in the open.
I mean, he pays the bills without showing it on another show.
Hey.
A little bit too on point. But yeah, no. I I think this the makings for one of the best video game shows of all time.
Okay, I'm with you there. So, like I said, full disclosure, I haven't personally played through the game. Now, I said I've watched through like Twitch streams and other stuff. I've watched the full playthroughs of it many times over, right? And I will say, from an outsider's point of view, it's probably one of the best video games ever made. And it's in part of that is because it's not necessarily just a video game. It is a movie you play. It really is. It's already set up to, like, your point about this maybe being the best of the, and we're one episode in, so
I know. It's
pump the
setting
brakes
up
just a little bit on that because but it sets itself up to be a good adaptation because of that. So the first time I saw the opening play of the video game, and they get to the end of it before the time jump forward, and once again, spoiler alert, and and Sarah dies, right? Gets shot and dies in Joel's arms, right? That hit me. I was like, that was a gut punch. I've seen it now, I think 3 or 4 different times, right? Because I've watched each of the versions of the original version, the remaster, and now the remake or whatever, right? I watched the remake twice. The most recent remake is very pretty, by the way, very pretty. I still cried during the TV show, though. Like you were saying, you still had the anxiety. I did. I cried when she died. Sandy Noon's daughter, I can't remember her name, but my God, that girl has some acting chops on her. She was outstanding. Oh my God.
It was, and like the detail with her, like how she had her arms on his neck, just game too. Like it's crazy because of it, I'm gonna replay this game again for the umpteenth time. So I'm in the middle of replaying it right now
I hear you.
until Hogwarts Legacy comes out.
Well,
Buying time.
And it's like I said, I like the things that the thought that they're doing is that they're doing additions to it. They're not changing necessarily the main storyline. Yes, they don't have spores, it's cordyceps. It's, okay, all right. I love the little like throwback opening part, like you talked about the little TV news clip, right? Because it's like, plants a little seed, and some of the previews I've seen, like, so they're gonna give some more backstory to other characters, right? More than anything else. Instead of doing what The Walking Dead did, which is have a first season that's spot on, almost, the whole CDC thing, no, but almost to the T of what the comics was. And then start going off these weird veers where the main arc still got you to where you needed to go, but you had all these different offshoots that fucked it up. So instead of doing that path, they're basically going with the story as we know it, but giving some more kind of back history to different things. At least that's the way it's been presented. People, the show writers have said in their podcast what that's what their plan is to do. So we'll get more backstory into like the I can't remember everybody's names, but like the 2 guys that they meet when they first get out of when they're getting out of Boston, right? The gay couple, gay guys, and eventually when you get down to Hank and Sam, and down the road others. So I think that's cool, right? Yeah. That's a good way to add that content in there without doing the Walking Dead thing.
Yeah, like I said, like right now it has the potential to be the best. Like, if anything, 2022 taught us is that there's certain things that cannot be done on TV. Halo was hot garbage.
I still have not watched the Halo series, and I probably will, just to say that I watched it.
Master took his helmet off. That's all there is to it. A lot.
Why would you do that? I was so excited when I saw that first trailer for
helmet
Halo.
Off more than it's on.
When I saw that first trailer for Halo, I was so excited, so goddamn excited. That sucks. Anywho, you guys give us your thoughts. What do you think? Did you watch Last of Us? Are you excited for it? Do you not care one bit? I mean, it got some mega ratings, which is good because they spent a shitload of money on this thing. So let us know what you guys' thoughts are.
Damn Skippy.
All right, well, how about we get back to wrestling?
Let's get back to wrestling. Let's talk a little AEW, but let's not start with Dynamite. Oh no.
Can we do?
Let's talk about Rampage.
Let's talk about Rampage specifically. Let's talk about a women's match on Rampage. How about that?
Oh, I thought you wanted to talk about our good friends over in the House of Black first.
Well, we could do that too. I mean, they had.
Okay. It was fine.
It's fine. It's a filler thing they're doing with Eddie. It's filler for Eddie. It's filler for them. It's whatever. It's good to get them TV time. Let's put it that way.
The women's match was bloody, brutal, and beautiful. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. You had Anna Jas and Tanara Mello, whatever, Tay J against Willow Nightingale and local favorite Ruby Soho.
Hey, Ruby.
And that match was awesome.
Street fight.
There was one thing that, it was a street fight. Willow Nightingale and Ruby came out looking like the Dudley Boys, which I thought was great.
I loved it.
It was awesome. I mean, the one negative out of the entire thing for me was Willow Nightingale completely botching the power bomb through the table and power bombing poor Anna Jay on the floor.
Yeah. I watched that and I slowed it down, slow motion. I was trying to watch a replay of it. I go, that's bad. Like, she definitely has a concussion, and it was a
TV.
hard botch, and it sucks because the spot was set up great. The whole match was wonderfully done. I mean, for some reason, she even has a T-shirt now, but Ty Mello, she can do the street fight shit. Those are her two best matches in AEW.
100%. Same with Anna Jay.
Yep.
She looked great in that match too. Everybody looked great in that match.
Everybody looked great. And Ruby looked great, even though the internet didn't think Ruby looked great physically because she got her head cut open or she bladed or a little bit of both. Whatever. Who cares? Apparently men do. Men on the internet in their parents' basement care a lot because, first of all, Ruby was gushing blood. Total Crimson Mask, not unprecedented. Most recently, we've seen different things like, I don't know, Eddie Kingston covered in blood coming to the ring with a gas can. Okay. Dog collar match with CM Punk where he, like a minute into the match, got his head busted open and bled more than Ruby did. I could go on. There's more. Hangman gets cut, has color in goddamn near every one of his matches, it seems like, right? Moxley, even Danielson. I mean, come on. But Ruby gets blood. Oh, that's too much. Women get.
Yeah.
Why?
And I want to talk about that because one of the most renowned old heads of wrestling, Ric Flair, was like, I don't like this. I don't think women should bleed. It's like
that pot kettle. Hello.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You don't think women? I mean, what is this? Like 1975? Times are changing, man. Women are a big, damn near can be and will be a bigger draw than most men. Like Stardom does really damn good over in Japan. Just saying.
Hi, Julia.
Hi, Dark Starlight Kid.
I'm gonna get somebody to acknowledge me. One of my faves.
Okay, Roman, settle down.
Hey.
Hey, he's one to be acknowledged.
Acknowledge me.
So that just makes me think. I did want to bring that up because you brought it up as well. these god blessed old dudes who are like still misogynistic. Like,
Oh,
what is it gonna take? What is it gonna take to get, you know, the internet wrestling community to understand? Hey, everybody bleeds. I mean, if you really want to get hyper technical, a person with the female anatomy bleeds more than men. Period. Ha,
eh.
that's an
I don't know.
accidental pun.
I'm not dwelling on that at all, buddy.
Accidental pun. I can say it's that 4 daughters. Just saying.
Oh, okay. So you okay? Honest to God, I don't know what it's gonna take to get the Jim Cornettes and the Duke Hudsons of the or whatever the fuck his name is. You know what I'm talking about. Um, and all those.
Conrad.
Yeah. Thank you. Get all those. I don't know what's gonna take to get them to change their ways. Probably nothing, and we just have to wait for them to die, and that's a terrible thing to say out loud. I know. But I don't wish them ill. I'm not wishing anybody to die. I'm just saying they probably won't change their ways. That's probably how it's going to be, right? The important thing is, I think, is to be louder and more supportive, those of us who are in this community who are not them. People like, the Fightful people over at Wrestle Talk. I know you have opinions about Wrestle Talk, but
I do.
but the prominent known journalists, people who are out there, people who are in the scene that work around a bunch of places. A lot of them are women. Hello, Denise Salcido, Sam Laterra. I mean, I can keep going. There's plenty of females in there, and this thought that. Of anybody out there, Ric goddamn Flair saying he doesn't like it when women bleed. This is a man who would bleed on the drop of a dime. And because of his large, blonde, flowy mop, just become like Ric Flair. Ric Flair has bled more than fucking Dracula's victims. I mean, honest to God,
You're not wrong. And like he would bleed on a whim. Like, oh, hey, I'm you're taking a back bump. Need me to bleed? Like,
Like open up a wound. Like, what are you doing? I mean, what about you? Both of us. The match itself, we loved it. Everything was great there. But what are your thoughts? You asked me, what's going to take for them? Can they be changed? Can the industry have more acceptance of it without it?
I think the industry as a whole has accepted it. On the independent circuit, like we've seen Alley Catch bleed, we've seen Sawyer Wreck bleed, we've seen some of these women do crazy ass death matches. Like we've seen it happen multiple
Casey
times.
Cartel is in fucking more violent matches than most men out there.
Yeah. So like I think as a whole the community has, but like when it's on TV and you have somebody who they deem incredibly pretty or whatever, like they look at him as a piece of meat instead of as a person who's trying to perfect their craft and put on an entertaining match that's not only entertaining for men because they're wearing skimpy outfits, it's actually entertaining to men because it's a good fucking match. Like that's the thing. Like these old timers, man, they're misogynistic. They want Sable. They want Tori Wilson.
They want
not
the Bellas.
Saying, yeah, they just want them out there to look good and not necessarily be the best wrestlers.
Well,
now, I know that's a hot take on Sable and Tori Wilson, but come on now.
Well, you're not wrong. They're part of that era. I think you hit the nail on the head there 100%, is that, what has been built up is women as a trophy within the industry, right? Vince's like old mandate of, blonde and fake boobed, right? That was his thing, right? You weren't blonde and fake boob, you weren't going to make it very far, right? There's a couple little exceptions that he allowed, but
yeah, they had tokens. Dark hair and fake boobs.
or you had your one black woman with fake boobs, right? Literally,
he really liked fake boobs. Yeah,
but all dressed sexily, and all these women, and you can ask them, a lot of them, especially the ones that after they leave WWE, Athena was basically like written off of a show one night, SmackDown, because she wouldn't dress sexy for it or whatever. Her outfit wasn't sexy enough, she said on a recent podcast or whatever. So I think that it's inherently built into that perception. I think the perception is being changed by those independent women, by the Alley Catches and the Sawyer Rex. And even Thunder Rosa, the Mission Pro girls, and those out in WoW, and it's being changed by them. That we can have this. And the funny thing too is, like, I wonder if it was because I didn't remember hearing this outcry last year when Ty Mello and the bunny was bleeding like a stuck pig in theirs. But you get this like, this alt girl with, short green hair and tattoos everywhere. And it's like, she's not 5'10", blonde and big boobed, and it's like, oh no, we don't want to see that. It's like,
yeah,
fucking bastards.
Pretty much.
Well, we enjoyed it. I loved seeing Ruby in a spotlight, of course.
I mean, that match was great. I am very, very happy with how that match played out. I like the fact that Ruby did get the win, and it was Ruby who did get the win, who fought through so much to get it. It was very, very nice.
Yep. And it looks like they're closing the book on that chapter. That's good to know.
God.
Speaking of which, let's talk about Dynamite from last night, man.
Yeah, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. We'll stay with the women because I feel like this is a beautiful segue. So I'm not gonna say I called it, but I called it.
I'll give you a sticker for a minute.
I deserve it.
All right, now it's gone. Now that you say you deserve it. Sorry, buddy.
I did. Hey,
you got a sticker. Enjoy it.
Hey, I'm just like Sex Panther. 60% of the time, I'm right every time.
Well, there's a couple of turns to this here where I had some thoughts. So, one women's match. Once again, Tony, you can do 2 women's matches. Come on, man.
I agree.
Come on.
They had the time. But so you had Willow Nightingale, who was just in that banger of a match, going up against none other than Toni Storm. And then before the match, Toni, Saraya, and Hikaru Shida are in the back, and they start doing the mean girl shit. And I'm like, like, oh yeah, we like you, but it's all about these old girls, like these homegrown talent. They just don't get it. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. It's like, oh, here it is.
Yeah,
they're doing it.
They didn't even hide the turn, just like come out and just be like, bam, here it is, y'all. It's like, I like it.
Saraya as a heel though.
I do too.
Toni as a heel is great too.
I love Toni as a heel. When Toni was in NXT UK, oh my god, her as a heel over there was fantastic.
Oh, I know. So honestly, Willow Nightingale and her put on a fantastic match. I love Willow Nightingale, the more and more I see her. Other than the botch on the power bomb,
well,
she's been great.
That happened. Everybody's gonna have a botch here and there. Hopefully, it doesn't seem like it's too serious. We would have heard more from about AJ. So you're gonna have a botch. Just don't make it a habit. Don't turn into a what's her
Nia Jax.
Nia Jax. Yeah.
Yeah. So this match was beautifully done. Toni wins by pulling the tights, which I saw right away. I'm like, she's pulled the tights.
Yep.
And then here comes Saraya, starts beating her up. And then Shida gets up, like, she's like, what's going on? What's going on? It didn't do anything. And then here comes Ruby to make the save.
Hey, Ruby. For a second, I was like, Ruby's going to turn on Willow right here.
No
now,
way.
It doesn't make sense for the stories they built up. But for the story they're planning long term, kind of does.
So So you're thinking
I don't know.
that
But the ex-WWE girls altogether.
so
That
Chainara then?
includes Ruby, if you're going to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a thought. I don't know if they're going to go that way. I like the direction they're going otherwise. I think they have more play with it.
They definitely do.
I love Ruby as a heel. Like her heel run against Natty was.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wear her dad's jacket.
Like smashing her dad's like sunglasses the week after he died.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but her heel run against Natty was, I mean, her heel is great, you know, but they're finally investing in her and they're I think they're setting her up to be a big face because she gets big pop. She's super, super popular amongst the AEW crowd. That's a smart thing to do. I think that makes her a viable option to potentially take the belt off of Jade as well, you know?
Yeah, get her back into that and get because
you get the payoff of like Ruby never wins the title, right? She never wins the title, so it makes
always
sense.
Comes up a little short. Not this time. I agree. I think that's a great play.
But for a second, I thought about her and that turn. I was like,
I almost feel like Shida might actually turn and join them. For a hot second too. Like she's got to get in there and start doing some heelish shit. I still feel like she's got a heel turn coming.
Okay.
But I don't know. We'll see. Like she's playing it odd. I'm like I really am enjoying the way Shida's playing right
It
now.
feels like there's more to the Shida angle here than meets the eye, right? You know, it definitely feels like there's something in disguise here.
Mm-hmm. Is she an Autobot? Is she Decepticon?
That was a great drop, man. Come on.
Hey, I did a Transformer drop early today.
You did too, but I
that's better than mine.
I snuck it in.
So. Hey, I'll own it. It was better than mine.
What was your favorite match from last night? Do I have to guess?
Oh,
because I can guess and I could probably hit it on the nail on the head.
Yeah, I bet you can.
Did it involve Bryan Danielson?
Sure as shit did. Like,
is he gonna do this every fucking week? I mean, seriously, dude.
Like, how is he like? I don't get it. But the thing was, again, Bryan made Bandito look like a superstar.
Well, Bandito was super fucking over before that match started. First of all, in Fresno. Oh yeah.
He went off and like that stalled suplex that he did where he held it for a little bit, then popped it straight up. I'm like, oh my god, dude, that was sick. And he went for a Mexican surfboard on Bryan Danielson. I thought that was a great touch. Like that match had everything. It had everything I ever wanted. And then some. Again, Bryan Danielson, second week in a row, certified banger.
It feels like Danielson's going up to TK and just being like, here's my list of my dream matches I want to do. All right, we'll just do them in a row. Oh, okay.
Now, I feel like there's going to be a dip in the next one.
Well, yeah, they announced that's going to be Brian Cage next week, right? And there's like a little bounty that, MJF put out there. I'm interested to see, though, Brian Cage, because, look, we had Takeshka. Now we had Bandito. I mean, Danielson, I don't think Danielson's had a bad match since he started wrestling in AEW.
I honestly, when I think about it, I don't remember the last time he's had a bad match.
I would say the old when he joined the Wyatt family, that part of the feud.
Okay.
There's some snoozers in there.
Well, yeah.
But it was all because of his slow play and like his like getting into the family and get him from inside. But anyway.
Yeah, which didn't work, but it did work, but it didn't work, but it did work.
It didn't work for me.
Yeah, then it ultimately didn't work.
But
yeah, no, like he's been phenomenal. And like I feel like it is gonna dip with Brian Cage just because Brian Cage's size.
Yep.
Like
he's not gonna be able has to too, right? You can't do this every goddamn week.
Yeah, because like if he does this every goddamn week, what's Revolution gonna look like?
I mean, it's going to be an hour-long Iron Man match. I mean, you got to save something in the
70
fucking
minute.
tank.
70-minute. I'm calling it now. It's gonna go to
They do the
overtime.
overtime thing they did in Kansas City again. Okay.
Yeah, a 10-minute overtime or 15-minute overtime. I forgot what they do on hour long.
They did a 5
5-minute.
overtime.
Yeah,
It was for
then
a
if you
half-hour
don't win,
match. So
yeah, and if you don't win that, then it's sudden death, which is every other match.
Yeah, regular then, right?
Yeah, now we're regular rules.
Loved it too. I thought it was the best match. I thought though Top Flight and Young Bucks was a close second.
Yeah, excellent point. Yeah, because I was gonna ask you what your other one was. Like Top Flight, I'm completely shocked that in Fresno, the Bucks put over Top Flight.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not, because this reminds me of when they had the inaugural tag team championship tournament.
And they put over
first round. They put over Private Party,
who's kind of gotten to obscurity.
They don't need to worry about the tag team stuff because they're the current trios champion. They even made a point of it 5 times during the match. That has been so long since they've been in a pure tag team match on AEW, right?
Good point.
Building it up, you've got another. It's kind of Kenny Omega. You're like, you got another thing for him. You don't need to worry about that other thing right now, right? So, what have they done with their tag division? Where's their tag division at currently? Now, with FTR more than likely going on hiatus for the next, 6 months or whatever, claim their champions. Who else is in that picture, though? You've got the Guns. You've got, you got other ones you could put in there. Private Party when they get healthy. Sure, they might be in it there. They've done some mishmash tag teams here and there. The Swerve in Our Glory thing was a whatever. But, you've got one of the futures of tag team wrestling potentially in Top Flight. So, hey,
we talked about them back in the day as the Young Pillars.
Absolutely, for tag team, because we had the Acclaimed, Private Party, Top Flight. They're both healthy. Put them over. You've already put the Acclaimed up. Put these guys up.
And honestly, Top Flight had some great tag team matches against the BCC.
Yeah.
They just came up just short. So, it's kind of nice to see them get the dub here. I agree. I feel like they could go on a nice run, and then they could go up against the Acclaimed. The crowd's not full on into them as much as I was hoping, but
you're right.
But it was a Fresno crowd, and
I think it needs. I think their gimmick needs just a little tweaking, right? Because what in their promo work have you heard that you liked? It's a trick question because I can't remember them doing a promo.
They need a manager.
They need a manager. They need to become heel or something, right?
Super face or super heel, not like this little in between thing.
Right. And just being the stellar athlete thing is great, but you gotta have some personality. You gotta have some character behind it. What is their character? They're brothers from Minnesota. That's it. So it's like we got to give them something, right? The Hardys, without having that whole Team Extreme gimmick to start, when they started getting big, would have just been the Hardys. Would have been the ones we saw when they first debuted back in, 94 or something stupid like that, when they were just 2 local competitors sort of things, They need something.
They do. Yeah, I agree. I feel like they just need a little something. A little seasoning. A little something just to take over the top. A little slap your mama. Something.
Some chicken shit. I got a stocky stuffer. I got some of that chicken shit seasoning. It's actually fantastic. It's actually called chicken shit.
It's like, seasoning. You put some of that chicken shit on there.
It's actually really good. Take a little bit, marinate that in for an hour or so before you stick it on the grill. Fantastic.
Perfect. Another fun match, honestly, was the opening match. I thought it was pretty fun. Orange Cassidy and Jay Lethal.
Fun's the best word for it. Absolutely.
What a great match by any stretch of the imagination. Even though it was a good match, like those two guys know how to do it. But the shenanigans on the outside with the best friends, Danhausen and Sanjay, Satnam, and Double J, yeah, like that whole thing was great.
I was much more wanting to see what the hell's going on with all them there at ringside than I was with the match.
Yeah, like when Satnam and all of them came up to the front row, then here comes Danhausen to check their tickets. He's like, he's like, over here, guys, over here.
And then the best friends come up and go the hardest way across the fan, like the fans that are literally like there's like this much room between them and the new barricades, and they're trying to squeeze across the whole front row with full
Holding
beers
beer
and popcorn. It's like you could make that somewhat easier to shoot. I mean, seriously, dude.
Yeah, it was so good though. Like those two guys, like so Chucky T is one of my favorites. Like I love him because he's just outright hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is Trent Beretta is so
low key hilarious,
low key funny. Like he just throws in the one-liners. He's deadpan. Like dude, I appreciate your sense of humor so goddamn much, and just I need it in my life every day. So please continue.
I loved it. It was good fun. The whole angle about Sanjay Dutt will get fired if anybody gets involved, and Jeff Jarrett kept wanting to get involved, and they're holding him back, and a curse with a guitar, from Danhausen. That was good. It was good fun. It was a good fun way to open the night.
So the one that wasn't fun for me, and I hate to say, Jake Hager versus Ricky Starks.
Once again, it's like I get the point of the JAS versus Ricky Starks because you're trying to use Jericho to pop up Ricky, right?
Yep.
He's got the track record. Okay, so it makes sense. You want Ricky to be top face, go up against MJF, right? Have that feud we talked about a few weeks ago. How you get him up there? You use Jericho. Okay, I understand that.
Huh.
It feels a little. It's a lot of this is swinging and missing, and the whole pairing with Action Andretti. I don't know. It's off.
Well, I'll tell you this much: my daughters are ecstatic with the pairing of Ricky Starks and Action Andretti.
Okay.
Because they are two beautiful men. Even my 7-year-old daughter, like when we were watching this, and she's like even Audrey's like, who's that? Yeah, I'm like, she's like, who's that? I'm like, that's Ricky Starks. And she's like, he's hot. I'm like, oh no.
No, you're not. No. You are not starring this. You are not.
No. But I mean, Ricky is a beautiful man.
He's a pretty man.
So it's just one of those things that it's just like, God damn it. I get why those two are put together. I get everything that they're trying to do. To your point, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels blah.
Yeah, it's like it's
a rerun.
It's not like a swing and a miss, but it's like a sharp foul balls one after another, right? I don't think it's like a total scrap out, but it feels like they're just not making good contact in it. I don't know how you fix that.
I think it's this. Every time you want young talent to get propped up in AEW, they run through Jericho.
Yeah.
Every last one.
So it's formulaic.
It's very formulaic. It becomes a rerun. So basically, I'm watching, the one with the ring. That's a Friends reference. Like
you're watching 15 seasons of Frasier on repeat, right?
Yeah. Or Big Bang Theory that's always on TBS right before they show the reruns. Like it feels that way. Like it's still good. I still enjoy watching it, but
what's happening and it's not.
Yeah. I already know how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
I'm not captivated.
I get you, and I think Jericho has a lot of pull in that. And for what's worth, like I said, his track record is great to do that, so I understand it. I like to see them kind of go. First of all, we talked about this in the past anyway. I'd like to see them shorten up some of their, some of these plot lines that they run, instead of running them for 3 months, run it for 6 weeks, and something like that.
I mean, they run them from
Pay-per-view to pay-per-view.
pay-per-view to pay-per-view.
Get
Which
it.
I like long-term storytelling.
Well, for some
but
stuff
not
I do
on
too.
Everything. Yeah.
Exactly.
Not everything. Like what they did with Britt and Thunder. Like we knew that was gonna come back to them.
Oh, yeah,
it was going forever.
glorious.
Like, come on. Just can we get this to end though? Like, do we have to have this end here?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. But then the second time they ran that same exact feud, how long was that one? About 4 weeks. Perfect. But then you have, on the other side of that, Jade Cargill and Athena for 3 months. And what happens? Jade wins, and no one cared.
Nobody gave a shit.
So,
Honestly, Jade Cargill, I feel like, and I hate doing this, is like, because you have no plan except for her to just be champion. There's no but. Even the angle they're doing now with the fallout of the baddies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares.
I don't care, like at all.
Nobody cares, and this is supposed to be your top cover girl, right? You've done nothing, and every time you've had a good storyline, you just, to your point, build it up and then fucking nothing.
Like the time that they build up Athena should have got the belt. But then she lost, and then literally 2 weeks later she turned heel. It made zero sense for everything that they were building with her, only to turn her heel 2 weeks. There's times to turn heel. What they did with Saraya, I feel like is perfect. It was a perfect timing to turn her heel because there's pieces there. Mm-hmm. It worked out beautifully. I thought it was great. But sometimes I mean, yes, we can bitch about booking all we want. But let's move on to something that I have a hot take that I was very pleased with.
Okay.
This might have been Darby Allin's best match ever in AEW.
5 minutes into this match, I knew you were going to say that. Because it wasn't a typical Darby Allin match.
It was a 50-50 match, ladies and gentlemen. 50-50, maybe 60-40. Kushida.
A little bit.
But it was not the 90-10, 95-5 that we are accustomed to.
Right.
And Kushida looked amazing. I miss seeing Kushida on my TV.
So good.
And I miss his hoverboard submission so much.
I love how blatantly Back to the Future he is.
He don't give a fuck.
The striping is the Mattel hoverboard, graphics on his so Back to the Future, doesn't even care.
Yeah, it's so good. Hey, everybody's got that one show or movie that they really love. He likes Back to the Future.
Going to town.
So no, this match was great. I loved this match actually. Top to bottom was good. I just wish Kushida would have won so he could be on my TV more, but that wasn't going to happen.
Right. I mean, a lot of it goes back to my previous sentiment. It all depends on pairing with Darby Allin. If he's got somebody like Kushida in there, he can put on a good match. We know he's got it in him, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just most of his matches are against, guys that he just beat the shit out of me, and then I'll find a pin at the end. But it was great, and I was surprised as fuck when I saw this a couple days ago. I go, wait, Kushida in AEW? Yeah. 'Cause I know he's been in Impact recently quite a bit, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, making that trip over to this, there seems to be a lot more crossplay between Impact and AEW lately.
Again, like it was. I think they're on good terms now.
Yeah. And there's been some I know that have moved in each direction. I know Willie Mack's now doing stuff because his contract has expired with Impact, so he's going to be on Rampage this week. Frankie Kazarian, his contract expired with AEW and he's re-signed back with Impact. So I think there is a much more friendly door between the two, which is great.
There needs to be. I mean,
It makes
everybody should be
sense.
playing nice because everybody wants to take down the Fed, right?
Yeah.
Like the only way you can take down the Fed is the enemy of my enemy is not my friend.
Yeah. And they're going to be opening the door depending on like how this sale goes. And for those who think they're not selling, um, I I have a bucket of beans I want to sell you. They're selling sometime this year. You know, who is it going to be to? Who knows? But depending on how that goes, that could drastically impact their future. Like if they go to if they go to a big conglomerate that wants to have much more control over the type of product they are, I think I know which company you think I might be talking about here. Yeah. It could be a very different looking WWE. If they go to some foreign entity, which we previously made mention of, it'd be a very different looking, as in you can't find it on your TV almost, probably WWE.
And no women.
There's a lot of variables in here, and to your point, until that gets sorted out, because that could be the opening that hasn't existed in 20 years, 23 years,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm in.
So
I'm so in on it.
all right, what else you got? Any final thoughts?
It was a solid show. It wasn't like the banger show it was last week.
Yeah,
But
good.
it was still good. I feel like they have a lot of stuff now. Like I think we are gonna officially get into the Revolution run now. So to build up about 6 weeks out. No, not even 6 weeks.
We're about a month out. No, we're about 6 weeks. It's first week of. It's hard because February is that short month, so you're trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah, it's like the March 2nd, right? March 2nd. Or March 4th.
We're about
March 4th.
About 6 weeks, give or take. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna start the run. I mean they're setting up some stuff with Hangman, since he's healthy. I wonder if he's gonna.
Who do you think he's gonna make it? He said that because he gave a little cryptic interview with Renee and talking about John a little bit, right? And then he did say that there's people he needs to make amends with that was long overdue.
The Bucks. Easy.
It's got to be the Elite, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be. We don't know what Adam Cole's going to be doing. He's now healthy. He's back in here, so that's great. They just had a vignette of him last night, but we don't know what he's going to be doing. I imagine there's going to be something for him at Revolution. Probably the beginning of an angle, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much the only thing we do know is MJF Danielson, So.
Iron Man match. Yeah. An hour of the show will be dedicated to that minimum.
Please don't. Please have less matches, Tony, if you're going to do that.
There'll probably be. I bet there'll probably be 7 or 8 matches instead of the.
There'll be at least 8. There'll probably be between 8 and 10 instead of 13 to 14. At least that's my hope.
Well, I'd be cool with 8. I think 8 would be perfect. I mean, and then 2 on the pre-show, so 10 total. But sure, 8 for the show. 8 for the show.
8 would be fine.
Yeah, you could do.
You know how Tony goes though, man. He just books the living shit out of these things though.
So do you want to try to fancy book Revolution?
Right now?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Oh,
8 matches.
Okay, sure. I
mean, we know one. We know one.
We know one.
7 matches.
All right.
I'll start with the women.
All right.
Okay. I have Jamie Hayter versus Saraya for the belt.
Okay, that makes sense. I think trios.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to have, because it's really the only viable option and it's one that I think makes the most sense here. You got plenty of time to sell the story. Elite versus House of Black.
Love it. Love it. And then what's a good way to protect somebody that has got a concussion? You put them in a tag team match. That's right. I'm calling this right now. The Acclaimed versus Adam Hangman Page and Adam Cole Bebe.
I like
for
that.
the belts.
I like that. That makes a whole lot of sense, you know. Much more sense than having like the guns or something like that. Oh.
Okay, what else we got?
Darby Allin against somebody. He's going to be on the card, and it's not going to matter. We know what the match is going to look like. I would love to see something like Darby Allin versus Miro.
That's exactly the first person I thought of.
I want to see Miro back in the picture, and I want to see him in the TNT picture as well.
Yeah, and getting the damn belt. Bring him back.
Now that you have Darby with the belt, I think you've got a great angle to do it for him, because that's where he got the belt from last time. You don't need to have him just show up and squash him and take the belt immediately, but you can put something in there. So I'll say Darby Allin versus Miro.
I love it. I think that's a great match.
I mean, we are fantasy booking.
We absolutely are. And I will fantasy book. This feels like this is an easy one. The All-Atlantic Championship of Orange Cassidy versus Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, that feels pretty on point. Well, I'm keeping the fantasies going. Jade Cargill, Ruby Soho.
Ooh, you think they can set that up in 6 weeks though, with everything that's going on?
No, but you said fantasy, so I'm just going to go.
Okay.
With it. I have no idea what they're going to do with Jade. Probably Jade Cargill and Red Velvet, realistically.
Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's more realistic. And then you have like a couple non-matches. So who's feuding right now, or who?
I mean, the feuds are kind of all over the place a little bit. I mean, you're gonna have Ricky Starks somehow in there.
Yeah, Ricky Starks and Chris Jericho.
Jericho in some
one-on-one
crazy stipulation match, right?
Yep.
Yeah, a
Daniel Garcia on a pole match. Yes. Daniel Garcia on a pole match.
You'll have Daniel Garcia, Action Andretti, and Sammy Guevara all on poles, and whichever one you get to first is your teammate.
Or you know what they might bring back is the shark. It's the shark cage. Put him in the shark cage.
The shark cage. Oh, please, not the shark cage.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. And then my last one.
Yeah, I think we got one more.
I think you have to go with some star power. To get everything. So, who are some top main eventers who aren't doing anything? Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta, the BCC, going up against the Guns.
Might as well.
That's.
I mean, they're both Ring of Honor champions, so you don't need them here. That's a good pre-show match, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good.
What about Eddie Kingston? You have Eddie Kingston versus.
I don't know.
Somebody from Japan. Who knows?
I mean, I'd be in on that.
I mean, that's kind of what they do every time. You know, here's Ishii. Oh, he's in town. You go against him, right?
Yep. Oh, and then I forgot to say, I am going to sweeten the deal for Revolution.
You're gonna do a big surprise.
Yes. After Saraya wins the belt.
That's when Mercedes Moné shows up.
Correct.
Okay.
There you go. We have officially fantasy booked.
Well, I'll counteract your surprise with an alternate surprise.
Oh, okay.
Adam Cole and Adam Page don't work so well together. As a tag team, end up losing the match, but are consoled afterwards when they're bickering by Mr. Jay White.
Ooh, I like it. Jamie Likey.
I knew you would. Because you think of it, twice on this, Adam Cole has said his good friend Jay White. He said it in his promo last week, and he said it, I think, no, he didn't say it last night. But anyway, just saying.
That's a good one.
That's our fantasy booking. We're probably going to be half right. We'll probably be 3/4 right.
Dude, like if I pull another one, like I'm just gonna have to start. Like I'm gonna have to go buy a hat.
There's no reason not to. All right, guys. Well, we'll be back next week. who knows? Maybe we'll talk about Last of Us every week. Let us know if you guys enjoyed that. If you guys like talking about shows and stuff, Also, if you didn't enjoy it, let us know that too, just so we can keep an idea. Because we will do it ad nauseum if we're not told one way or the other. We'll just keep doing it.
Yes. And if you like the dark humor dad jokes, let me know. I'll keep adding them in.
Maybe not the Hitler one, but I mean,
yeah, maybe if we go with something that's still dark, but not that dark.
You could have nudged into that a little smoother. Just saying, Jamie. Just saying.
I mean, hey, I've always been told if you're gonna go big,
Yep. Well, rock out, y'all. So, all right, we'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Give us a like, subscribe, follow, share, all the stuff. Give us a comment, tweet at Total Spotfest. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We do appreciate you giving us some of your time today. Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down Total Spotfest, I got 4 words for you. Rest in peace, Jay.
All right, guys. See you next week.
Peace.